Yo, what up, YouTube? It's Rob Money here with some more wrestling news today. Alright, so I didn't take a look at some stuff, but here's what's on the news today. Uh, Sami Zayn is basically not at SmackDown for the last couple of weeks. So basically, we're going to go look into why. And then there's other stuff going on too, such as Cody Rhodes discussing about released talent in from WWE. Becky Lynch believes she saw Vince McMahon demonstrating how to fall off a tower. Roman Reigns Netflix movie, and much, much more. So let's begin our discussion today through what's on first. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about today is actually about top WWE executives selling off their stock. And then on top of that, John Cena also wishes to celebrate World Wish Day. Basically, for what most people don't know what's going on with the top execs, it was reported last night that Kevin Dunn had sold several of his shares. And right here in this article is revealing that he sold off 33,000 shares of stock, which is at an average $45.46. Here's something that I think they're not going to bring up today, because I saw this on my phone because I try to keep up with stocks myself, and that is that WWE stock, McDonald's stock, a lot of stock today has dropped. Of course, this is dealing with the impacts with the coronavirus. Let's take a look at and see how far WWE stock has dropped. So far, from what I've been following, it's been a constant flow since February. WWE stock has risen from $34 to $45 a share, and currently, right now, it has dropped about 1.34%, which is minus 60 cents off of what WWE stock is worth, which is right now, as you can see, Kevin Dunn had sold all his shares, not all, but 33,000 of his shares at $45.46, whereas WWE executive Bradley Blum has sold over 16,000 of his shares at an average of $45.32. Today, the current WWE stock is about worth $43.92. By the way, while we're also going there, for those of you who have Netflix stock, it has dropped down a 1.09%, which is now at $415.27. For those of you guys who bought Nintendo stock, it's stagnant. It's still it has not dropped. It's still worth the Japanese yen that it's worth. Amazon stock has dropped dramatically for a 7.60%, but letting people know about Amazon's shares, they're worth about $2,286.04 right now. So just to give you guys an idea of how much stock has gone down. As far as WWE stock, it's been very, very, I would say, consistent. It was 34 in February now, and it's raised slightly up to $45 or $43 now. So will there be more of a drop? Who knows? I mean, with the coronavirus impact going on the stock, it's crazy to see what's happening I've been around in stocks and in the economy, guys. Very crazy. All right. Also, John Cena, who has made, well, I'll play it for you guys, because this is actually John Cena celebrating. All right, come on.
What's the most often essentially the end product of the Make-A-Wish. When WWE does a Make-A-Wish, if a family would like to meet, let's say, Roman Reigns, while they're orchestrating getting the family set to meet Roman, any other superstars that are around are asked to come in and say hi, and everybody does so willingly. I think that WWE has a great perspective of what Make-A-Wish is and what Make-A-Wish provides. So in my first experience with Make-A-Wish, I didn't know what it was, and was asked to just go into a room and say hi to a bunch of people, which I willingly did, and it was a really fun time. And when I left, the live event representative was very thankful and said, like, hey, that was great. Thank you very much for doing that. That was for Make-A-Wish, which led me to my next question. Well, what's Make-A-Wish? And so started a wonderful 2-decade relationship with an organization that's become very important in my life. So when people ask me about, like, showcase some of your favorite wishes, it's that first one that introduced me to the concept of being able to provide happiness, can provide hope, which indeed can provide our most valuable asset. So that first one's always the most memorable to me.
Alright, guys. Alright, enough with that. I mean, you guys all know what kind of good work John Cena does for Make-A-Wish, and, what the WWE does for Make-A-Wish. I know some people might not find that kind of sappy or kind of make them look good kind of thing. In my opinion, I think they do what they do best at that point, and that's to make people happy. And what John stated in that video just now, he basically saying that they do their best to try and make these kids happy. And you know what? I'm a full 110% support on that, because a lot of people don't realize kids with disabilities or going through a traumatic disease right now, I mean, they deserve to be happy, and we should applaud. For any athlete or any company that does this for Make-A-Wish, we should give them applaud, because that's something. It's one thing to make someone's day. It's another thing to make a child's day, and to make a child who's sick or dealing with something that most people don't deal with, to make their day is even better, and that's honorable, in my opinion. All right, and then also Ring of Honor is doing more stuff for you guys here. Because they are showing off basically new videos, such as, which I think someone should check this out, because there is a lot of things I think people would go apeshit for, such as 9 wrestlers you didn't know appeared in Ring of Honor. Man, I know Eddie Guerrero's on this list. I'm shocked that Christian's on this list, because I didn't even know Christian was at Ring of Honor at one point. And then, of course, Bandito is showing off his mask collection. So if you guys want to check out Bandito and his mask, all the different ones, check them out, Alright, so Mandy Rose is commenting on her backstage segment with Otis after WrestleMania, and says it was not scripted, as she claims here. So let's see what she says. I'm pitching the idea to Vince McMahon. It's hard to get into Vince's office, but finally I got in. I pitched the story. He loved it. He had some ideas, and then Sonya and I had a lot of creative say, which was really cool. We were able to write a lot of it. We all worked together, and that's one of the reasons it worked so well. Everyone's been really passionate about it. And then on the backstage interview on YouTube, that was just us off script being ourselves. I was shocked it got so many views. We're really thankful that people are enjoying this. On her venture outside of WWE, the reason I fell in love with fitness was because of the way I felt after a workout, even looking in the mirror afterward and feeling good about it myself. Guys, let's be honest, who doesn't feel good after doing a good workout? Who doesn't feel that good to go and fucking posing in the mirror? Who doesn't? I'm so passionate about health and beauty. So these projects are near and dear to my heart. I want people to feel that too. So I'm hoping people would try fit with Mandy. So basically, what she wants to do, guys, is basically from all her time working out, doing fitnesses, she wants to actually help promote health and fitness and health and beauty to a lot of people so that they themselves can try it themselves too, and actually she's encouraged them she wants to encourage others to just get healthy and fit, which is cool. But for those of you who don't know the video that she's talking about, it's this one from after WrestleMania 36, where her and Otis take a moment to share with each other on YouTube. And by the way, it was just them being themselves, as she said. And quite honestly, I think that's cool. I mean, that must mean that not only did we watch something that was real and organic, but we actually got to see a real moment in WWE history, you know? Which, to me, is great, because that means what do you call that? It means that we're watching something that's organic, and it's fresh, and, you know, sometimes people like to feel real, especially in wrestling. They want to feel more realism than actual scripted or written stuff, you know. And a lot of people are very vocal nowadays that WWE needs to do more real than scripted kind of thing, or off script kind of shit, you know. My opinion is, okay, what talent is willing to do it, and what do they need to do it, you know? I mean, like, back in the day, Austin read bullet points so he could get the main idea, and then when he would go and cut his promo, he would say it in the way he could, and, you know, going by the standards and practices that Vince wants Austin to do stuff, you know. I mean, there is, of course, a freaking, a freaking line of saying things, but anyway, what I'm saying is, Austin would go out and cut a promo, and it would be totally ad-libbed or off script. He basically went off on the bullet points as his script, which would give him the main idea, and he would just cut the promo. That's basically what he would do. A lot of guys, as most people notice, it's like they're reading off the script more so than they are actually going out there and being that character to perform the script. I mean, it's like, people could tell when it's not them talking. People like it when it's the wrestler themselves talking or saying what they are meant to say. You know. Basically, whatever bullet point Vince McMahon or main idea Vince McMahon wants to get, when a wrestler says it the way they would say it and how they would say it, the fans like it more so. Next, we are going on to this article, which is about Roman Reigns, as his Netflix movie is to debut 5/13 on May 13th, guys. WWE Network Netflix will be debuting The Wrong Missy, which stars Roman Reigns, David Spade, Lauren Lapkus, fuck, I don't know how to say her name correctly, Nick Swartzen, and basically, for those of you guys who want to know what the movie's about, here's the synopsis. When Tim Morris meets his dream girl, and their relationship quickly escalates through texts, he throws caution to the wind and invites her to his company's corporate retreat on an island resort. However, when a past blind date from hell shows up at the airport for the weekend getaway, he learns too late that he's been texting the wrong Missy. Alright, so, guys, if you're looking in for a new movie while we're on quarantine still, for some of you guys who aren't back at work yet, here's a movie to watch if you guys are willing to watch it on May 13th. Alright, and then also, the network also shows what is the most watched shows, and here's what it shows below. At number 7, WrestleMania 36, Night 1. That's the one with the Boneyard match, which I think was the best match of the pay-per-view. And then there's number 6, which just debuted, A Conversation with Triple H and Lemmy, which shocks me, But you know what? I think it's because most people who watch WWE don't know Motorhead sometimes. But those who do are the reasons why it's on this list. So, if you guys haven't checked this one out, it's really interesting. I highly recommend watching it. So, if you guys get a chance, check it out. WrestleMania 36 Night 2 is number 5, which surprises me. I guess people are into that Firefly Funhouse match so much that they're actually trying to debunk it too damn much. I guess the people who are planning to make a YouTube video about the Firefly Funhouse, or they're making memes about the Firefly Funhouse match, I really, really think that's why it's number 5 right now. Number 4, Rey Mysterio's Best 619s. I haven't seen this one yet, but I can understand why people would like it, you know. It's Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio has a lot of great matches. WWE Ride-Along, in a particular episode, Mandy and Otis, speaking of the devil, and Street Profits. Now, I look at this and I think fans are really enjoying this one because of the fact that they already love the Mandy and Otis chemistry that they have together, and they also like the Street Profits. I think it's an interesting one. I thought it was a funny episode, so for those of you guys who want to check that out, watch that episode of Ride Along. Number 3, which is pretty cool, and it's made this list, but I can understand why a lot of people be watching this, and that's because there's a lot of Attitude Era fans. I'm one of those guys. My favorite era in wrestling is the Attitude Era, guys. I'm going to be quite honest. And the main reason is Stone Cold. And number 3 is Stone Cold's Hell-Raising Moments. Number 1 is also, right here, also part of the Attitude Era, and even in the modern era. And that's 25 years of Triple H game-changing matches. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of fans right now who is watching this because basically they want to see why Triple H is good, you know, why he's a great wrestler, why he had good matches. And on top of that, I think a lot of people look back to the roast that Vince McMahon and Shawn Michaels and Stephanie had for Hunter a week ago. That they kind of want to watch this and see, is Hunter really that awful? Because, I don't know. And then there's also probably those conspiracy theorists who like to believe that the only reason why Triple H is as famous as he is today is because he banged Stephanie McMahon. Which, in my opinion, that's totally blown out of proportion. My honest thoughts about that, I could actually make a whole video about this, to be honest, but I don't want to waste too much people's time. But basically, if you look back in 1998, this is way before Triple H and Stephanie even got to start working together on camera. Hunter was just as over as Rock and Austin at the time. You don't believe me? There was I think it was like maybe a week or two, or after or before SummerSlam of 1998. They did Pacific Blue, and Hunter was featured on that show. And if I remember correctly, the dude looked like one of the coolest motherfuckers in the room when they did that whole scene with Pacific Blue. I mean, fuck. Hunter had like a bunch of girls, including China, around his arm. I swear, there was like 5 or 6 girls, man. On top of that, with Triple H, guys, back then, Triple H was one of the funniest guys out there with his army of DX. When he took over DX, he really stepped it up. I mean, he became a fan favorite. I liked watching Triple H back then. I know a lot of fans back then in that days going, oh, bruh, I love what DX did last night. Triple H is freaking the man. And then all of a sudden, it goes from that to the year 2000, and people say, oh, Triple H is only where he is because he banging the boss's daughter. To be honest, guys, that's not even the deal. Triple H became WWE champion probably 3 or 4 months before. Like, it was 3 months before he started working with Stephanie, and they said their relationship Their relationship started when Hunter and Stephanie started their storyline together. And to be real, Hunter had won the WWE Championship twice by that time. And on top of that, he was becoming one of the top heels in the business. He became the top heel for The Rock and Stone Cold and Mankind and at that time because I guess Taker needed to take time off before he came back as the American Badass. Kane was an afterthought almost at the time. But Hunter was actually the top heel. So you want my honest opinion? For anybody who says that Triple H only got where he needed to be because of Stephanie McMahon, you know what? Kiss my ass. That's just my honest opinion. Sorry, guys. I'm very passionate when it comes to that because I followed wrestling. I know that when people talk like that, that's not even the truth. It's because I remember it. I remember it clear as day. Fuck. Alright, off of that. Becky Lynch has gone on record and said, I recently saw Vince McMahon demonstrate how to fall off a tower. Oh my god, guys. This might not look good, in my opinion. I don't know. I do not know. I'm just hoping we don't see like what happened with Big Show and Hogan in WCW in that monster truck match. You know, I just hope we don't. And the fact is, I think it's going to have something to do with Money in the Bank. But this is what she is saying. Alright, she goes on and says, we're quite lucky, her and Seth, during the time of quarantine, because Seth has a gym in Iowa. We at least have that to go and train to every day. So, lots of training and catching up on shows. I've never seen Game of Thrones. I watched a whole 8 seasons in 2 weeks. Now I'm busy with reading and acting lessons and all those good things. I'm like, what? And then on top of this, Vince McMahon demonstrating how she fell out of fall of a tower. I watched him the other day demonstrating falling off a tower at 74 years old without a bother, brushing his shoulders off and standing up again. Oh man, even though that Vince looked very sick about a week ago during the roast with Hunter, the fact that he's doing that at 74 years old, I say he's still superhuman. I'm sorry, guys. Anybody who's burying Vince, that man is still superhuman at this point. 74 years old and he's practicing a stunt. My God. And then, you know, this makes me worry a little bit because Money in the Bank is coming up. And in the Money in the Bank matches, they're doing a segment where they're going to have people run through all over WWE headquarters to get to the top of a roof to grab the Money in the Bank briefcases for both the men's and the women's Money in the Bank. And Vince demonstrating how to fall off a building. I'm like, is he really going to do this at Money in the Bank? That's going to be crazy. It could be totally bad. And then this is what she says. I wanted to see more things like cinematic matches. The thing is, it's a crazy time. You have to see what works and what doesn't. The fact that we have the ability to make more cinematic matches I think, is a testament of how we can adjust and move forward. I think we have to keep going along those lines. Not necessarily every match has to be cinematic, but just exploring different ways of dialogue and how we adjust our storytelling to this new reality we're in. As much as a lot of people might not like that because they don't like cinematic matches, I guess some people don't. I don't know why. I mean, I like cinematic matches. It makes the matches more interesting, in my opinion, and makes them have more character and more uniqueness to them. It's just because I know they don't like movies when they're watching wrestling and they think wrestling shouldn't be a movie like that. You want my honest opinion? Why the fuck not? Like, that's my question. Why the fuck not when it comes to cinematic matches? Because, quite honestly, I think you could do more with cinematic matches. That's just my opinion. And what she pretty much stated here, not necessarily every match has to be one, but just exploring different ways of dialogue and how we adjust our storytelling is basically something that I believe should happen in wrestling. People should learn to explore and adjust. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, why don't they go off script? I would ask the same question. But I also know that there's a lot of guys who can't go off script, period, but they're just great wrestlers. And that's what makes it hard. All right, next, Jim Ross. Guys, for all of you guys who love AEW, as of an update, next week, WWE Hall of Famer and AEW commentator Jim Ross will be returning to AEW TV for Dynamite, and he hasn't been on the show since March 18th, but he will call the match. Well, he also called the match on April 15th, but he will return to Dynamite next week. Check out Dynamite next week, guys, and I want to see the build-up for the TNT Championship. That's my honest opinion for AEW Dynamite. I want to see the build-up because I think that Cody Rhodes, Lance Archer is compelling storyline right there. All right, speaking of AEW, Cody Rhodes is talking about recently released superstars. So Cody commented on these two superstars joining AEW in a Instagram Q&A. And he goes like, Zack Ryder is the best. He's got over 2 million followers on Twitter, over 1 million followers on Instagram. Very broad influence, very incredibly famous, more famous than any of the other guys out there. But that doesn't always translate. The biggest hurdle he'll face is his friendship with me. He's one of my really close friends in wrestling. Maybe my only friend in wrestling. I have my brother in AEW. I have my beautiful wife, and they all do the work. This can't be all friends wrestling. And you know what? Jim Cornette has been saying that from the beginning of time, and has been saying it coming from the deep parts of his asshole. You have handled it the best way. You have to handle it the best way. If you put on Nightmare Family Jacket, you got a massive bullseye on your back, just in the locker room alone. It's a total heat seeker. But I'm looking forward to what he does next. He'll turn a lot of heads. I think and hope our paths will cross down the road. He's just an entering wrestler prime. Men's wrestlers prime is 35 to 40, which is very true, guys. Unless you're Undertaker. That's just my opinion. Cody was asked about Heath Slater, and he says, nope, no on Heath Slater. Which was going to be this other article right here, but that's what it has been going. Maybe there's an update on it. But anyway, what has been said about this from Cody has gotten to Heath Slater at this point, and he has reacted and says, damn, no hope on Heath? Nope on Heath? I know you're a new businessman, but that was a bad business decision. Oh my. You guys want my honest opinion after reading this? If Heath Slater is not going to be on AEW television, then there's only two or three things. He's either one, going to Japan and making a bigger name for himself, or two, he's going to Impact and making a big name for himself, or three, he'll end up back in WWE once all this clears up, you know. But damn, I feel bad for Heath on that one. It's going like, damn, no on Heath. Bad business decision move, Cody. I gotta say that's actually quite funny, guys. I'm sorry, that is funny. Okay, more Ring of Honor news today as Ring of Honor cancels all of their events, including the Best in the World pay-per-view next month. This is due to obviously the concerns of COVID-19. Ring of Honor wants to make sure that I guess their fans and personnel and even talent will stay safe during this crisis. So they have canceled shows that are happening in Dallas on June 5th, June 6th in San Antonio, and their Best in the World pay-per-view, which is June 19th at the UMB Center. And ticket holders for Dallas event will receive a refund via credit card that they made purchase with. Anyone who purchased a ticket for San Antonio and Baltimore for Ticketmaster with a credit card will also receive an automatic refund. And those who purchased a ticket with cash directly from the Aztec Theater in San Antonio or the UMBC event will need to contact the venues about their refund. So if you guys have bought tickets to this event, if you bought it with a credit card, you're going to get your refund. For those of you who bought with cash, because I know there's a lot of people who do buy with cash, you guys need to contact the box office that you bought your ticket from so that they can refund you as soon as possible. Ring of Honor also appreciates your understanding through these difficult times, and they want to do their part to help stop the spread of this virus, and will continue to provide updates as time goes on. And they're also asking, how can you stay up to date with your Ring of Honor and join the entire Honor Nation? Just watch Ring of Honor television every week on your local Sinclair broadcast, which would be Regional Sports Network, Fight TV, Ring of Honor app, or ringofhonorwrestling.com, as they will continue to release new episodes of Ring of Honor television featuring historical matches and footage that's never been seen before. So guys, that's basically how you're going to keep up with Ring of Honor. Because they're going to be showing historical matches that were probably great, and then the ones that they did not show on TV yet. So I hope you guys would like to check that out if you are a Ring of Honor fan. I like Ring of Honor. I think they're great, but they're still going to be a lesser company out there, and probably King of the Indies kind of promotion. All right, so next is a report from Oklahoma, as the governor of Oklahoma wants to bring wrestling and MMA and boxing to his state. Now, for those of you guys who are asking, is this governor asking for these events at his state because of COVID-19 and wants to get in on that action that Florida's getting? No. He's actually trying to get it in general for that particular state. So he's trying to bring wrestling, MMA, boxing into the state. According to the WON, Governor Kevin Stitt wants to bring several sports industries in order to generate revenue. The idea is that there will be less political fallout by bringing in combat sports and wrestling, which will have less media focus than traditional sports such as NBA, NFL, MLB, etc. It should also be noted that there are no pro wrestling, MMA, or boxing unisons, so there will be less outside pressure over safety concerns. So, if you are a wrestling company looking to get work, or even trying to make some money with some crowds, some venues or something, Oklahoma is asking, please come over. And if you're an MMA company, same thing. All these kind of sporting events that he's trying to get, guys, I think a lot of people should try and contact the Oklahoma governor for that. All right. And then we're going on to another thing, which Mick Foley has a statement, a long statement, guys. I'm not reading this, but it all concludes to what Mick Foley believes, which I think after watching Dark Side of the Ring of the Chris Benoit story for those 2 episodes, he is also saying now that Nancy Benoit should be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. I agree with her. I agree with this. And mainly because Nancy did a lot. And there's a lot of people who are fighting for Nancy to go in the Hall of Fame. But to have that endorsement by Mick Foley is huge. And here's his reasoning for it, folks. And look, there's a picture of him and Nancy. So here's what he says. For her work as fallen angel, I believe she deserves to be included. For her work as woman during her first WCW run when she feuded with Rick Steiner, managed Doom, and managed the Four Horsemen, I believe she deserves to be included. For her run in ECW and her second run with WCW, where she helped create a fascinating angle that blurred the line between story and reality, I believe she deserves to be included. Inducting Nancy Tofoloni into the WWE Hall of Fame is the right thing to do. Let us remember her and define her for who she was and what she did in life. Well said, Mick. And quite honestly, folks, I agree with it. You know, she should be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, it should be approved, in my opinion. For those of you guys who are fans of the Benoit family, I think you all should approve of it. I know some people are going to be doubting it. I say the Hall of Fame should not be allowed to Chris Benoit. But for Nancy Benoit, it should be, because she should be inducted. She deserves that right. She did nothing to harm anybody in the process. And quite honestly, she deserves to be honored for what she's done for this business. And quite honestly, that's what Mick is saying right here, guys. And this is to remember her as well. But he, as you guys know, Mick Foley, the reason why I didn't read the whole entire thing, folks, is because Mick is known to write a whole long dialogue, or monologue actually, about things when he puts on the social media. So if you want to read the full thing, check out Mick Foley at his Twitter, Instagram, and you can read the whole thing there. I mean, I'm not going to go on and talk for him, you know, but I would rather say what he is meaning to say right here. So if you guys already follow Mick Foley, you know he writes these beautiful, beautiful things. You know, I say check out what he says, because I think you'll like what he says in general. But as far as what he says about her work and being inducted in the Hall of Fame, I agree. I totally do. All right. Arn Anderson is in our news again, guys, and he discusses why WWE should have a short off season. He goes up and says, "Yeah, I'm up for it. You bet. The fact of the matter is, the guys do need more time off than they get. You know, that's a fact. The fact of the matter is, if you are going back over the last 10 years, and you look at the books and look at the injury report, it would stagger you how much injuries many people have been hurt. That's the reason they need, and we know who they are. That's the reason they need that huge talent list that they have, because guys get hurt, ladies get hurt all the time, because there's never time for their bodies to rest. And even just taking, shutting down for, let's just say, a round figure of 3 weeks, say if you did it after WrestleMania, or if you did do it at Christmas time, well, let's just say it. You build WrestleMania, I've always felt that's like the end of the year. And next Monday on Raw is the beginning of the new season. And he is asked, does he think it will ever happen? He says no, because there's too much revenue to be made during those 3 weeks. Which is true, guys. I mean, if WWE is going to be making money off of their talent and how they work in general, I mean, that's what they're going to be doing, and you shouldn't be taking time off if that's the case. But should they take time off? I believe so too, but that's just, you don't know how, let's just put it this way, they need to be continually running, so. Arn Anderson, speaking truth there, guys. And now AEW superstar Jon Moxley, formerly known as Dean Ambrose, was asked about release superstars potentially signing with AEW. And he goes like, everybody in wrestling, you kind of generally end up where you're supposed to end up. That's just the kind of how it goes. The cool thing is all that, of all the kind of current free agents who are unfortunately on the market at an unfortunate time, once the world kind of goes back to normal and stuff, now all the companies are all gonna have these great talents. It's not like I'm just gonna plug this person in and here and then, but I'm into AEW and it's going to be the same thing. He said, you can't even think like that because you have no idea what these people are going to become. They may become totally new characters. They may branch into a different style. It may be the best version of all 20 of those people who we've yet to see. It's endless possibilities, and you just kind of have to see in what the future holds. He's totally right, guys. He's totally right on that. I don't disagree. Now, our last article of the day. Sami Zayn. Why Sami Zayn last week wasn't at SmackDown? And the answer is because of concerns of the COVID-19 pandemic. Basically, as you guys know, WWE has claimed that anyone who is not comfortable working with right now doesn't need to attend tapings. And Sami doesn't want to work these days due to COVID-19. It remains to be seen how that will go over with WWE officials, despite publicly saying that talent doesn't need to be there if they aren't comfortable. Vince McMahon has been at all the TV tapings in recent weeks, and if he's there, you can bet he wants his talent there as well. And Zayn has tweeted last week that he had a wisdom tooth extraction and has not appeared on TV since WrestleMania 36 Night 1, where he retained the IC Championship. Does this look bad on Sami Zayn? It could, for the company's point of view. But at the same time, it might be good for Zayn, too, because WWE has been having these allegations that they're forcing people to work. Sami Zayn is a good example of a person who took his time and wanted to get out of there before the COVID-19 pandemic affects him. Much like how it did Roman, Sami is also taking the time off because he's concerned about this and is taking this seriously, obviously. I don't think he's going to get reprimanded for it. That's just my opinion. If you think he does, let me know. That's the main question of the day, and it's our final thing of the day. Do you think Sami Zayn will be reprimanded for staying home during the pandemic? Let me know. Why does it look bad if there is to rebuttal against my whole argument that he won't be reprimanded? It's bad because he's the IC champion, and Vince McMahon, as you know, would want his champions to be at the show. so that he can still continue the show and still be able to put on championship matches. If Sami's not there, it's kind of a bad look on him, because it's like, okay, we made you the IC champion, and yet you're not here every week. Yeah, I can't trust you as the IC champion no more. You're going to have to drop it. And that's where I think he might be reprimanded. But a lot of people should know, Sami has also vouched for not going to Saudi Arabia multiple times due to the fact that he does not feel safe in Saudi Arabia due to his heritage. You know, for those of you guys who know, Sami is Middle Eastern. He's Canadian, but he's also Middle Eastern, and he doesn't feel safe going to the Saudi Arabia shows, especially because Sami's heritage comes from Syria. So Sami's all against going to Saudi Arabia, folks. And he's been very vocal. It's left a bad mark on him, I guess, in that sense. But WWE is not going to do something that's going to give him bad publicity. And to me, with the current allegations going on with forced employees being there and not following regulations, I don't think Vince is going to mind Sami being gone from TV. That's just my honest opinion. I think it puts that, it will just prove his point that, yeah, talent are okay, talent and employees are okay to stay home. That's what's going to make it look like. So that's why I don't think he's going to get reprimanded. The only thing that is going to be the reason why he would be reprimanded is because he has the IC title. Which means they might come up with an interim champion, if anything. But if not, we might see Sami Zayn not being champion anymore, guys. And I know there's a lot of people who are going to be booing the shit out of that. Alright, but that's what's going on. And let it be known, folks, this is not because the company told Sami to stay home so they look good. Because I know there's some people who are going to be conspiracical about it and create conspiracy theory, you know? But Sami is the one who has decided to stay home during the pandemic. So for those of you guys who are wondering, it was Sami's decision, not the company's. All right. Other than that, guys, that is today's episode. Leave a like, leave a subscription if you can. Also, leave your guys comments. I mean, even if you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram and leave me comments there, I love to have wrestling discussions. I would love to see other people's opinions and what their thoughts are. If you're going to give me hate mail, expect me not to give two shits. All right? But if you're going to give me a good intellectual discussion, I guess, hey, I'm looking forward to it, you know? Other than that, guys, you have a great day. Take care. Thank you for watching. And God bless y'all. Stay safe.